Taking a look at Kyber Network here on the daily, you can see we have come back down to retest this 382 again here on the Fibonacci retracement. You see this level sitting around where these previous lows are, and it's really not a great thing that we have come down here to test it again. This almost looks like an inverse cup and handle formation here. Turn on the EMA ribbon and the Ichimoku cloud. You can see we're still pretty far away from the EMA ribbon here, but it is still pretty wide. So if we do make this inverse cup and handle formation, the EMA ribbon can come down and test the price action yet again and push it further down. But it is worth a mention, we've already gotten a couple tests of it, so theoretically we could break it to the upside, as we usually never break to the upside on the first test, as you can see here. Ichimoku cloud is relatively far away from us, so it's not that much of a concern at the moment, and the 200 EMA is up here at around $2.4. Drop down on the 4 hourly, you can see we've been testing the EMA ribbon quite a bit throughout this move right here, but ultimately we did trend lower, and currently we are testing it again, and it looks like we're trying to get rejected out of it. Ichimoku cloud is getting wider, which really isn't a great sign, and you can see we are below the 200 EMA here. On the hourly, things looked a little promising here for a bit. You can see we did have an inverse head and shoulders pattern that sent us up to here, and it actually looked like we were forming a cup and handle formation right here. The cup, the handle, and then we actually did have a breakout, only to get stopped by the 200 EMA here on the hourly, which just signifies weakness in my opinion. You can see if I draw a trend line from here to here, signifying somewhat of the neckline of the cup and handle formation, you can actually see that we have broken back down below the neckline, which is not a good sign. Now if this cup and handle did play out, we can take a price range from the bottom to the top here and extrapolate the price data upwards, where the breakout should have sent us higher, but it did not. And you can see that this is marking around $2. And real quick, if we draw another trend line right here, you can see that we have broken into the downside. We had 1 test, 2 tests, 3, 4, 5, 6, multiple tests over here, and we finally did break this to the downside. So at this point, we'll likely see a retest of this trend line right here before we find another move down, almost a kiss of death. We don't always have to have a kiss of death before we move further down, but most of the time we do. And if we zoom out on the hourly here, you can actually see this larger inverse cup and handle formation possibly playing out. Here you can see the cup and the potential handle here. If we take a price range from the bottom of the cup all the way to the neckline here and extrapolate the price data down, say somewhere around here is where we'll break out, you can see it's targeting the 618 around 45 cents. So to sum things up here, this really isn't good that we're setting lower highs every time we test this zone of support. Usually the more often we test zones of support or resistance, the more likely we are to break into the downside. So Kyber Network could be forming something like this, a inverse cup and handle as I mentioned, or we could do something like this where we have another bounce that's not quite as high, another bounce, and then eventually fall through, making somewhat of a bear flag here. Now if we do find a bounce here and that hourly cup and handle formation plays out, which it doesn't look like it's going to, but if it does, again, we'll probably see a top around $2 here, which is sitting around where this previous low is right here. And if this is the top of the bounce that we have seen, we'll likely find a move all the way down to 45 cents. We could find a bounce here at the 0.5 level on the Fibonacci retracement, but it'll likely just be a bounce before we trend lower, especially considering that the 382 here has held Kyber Network up for quite some time. You can see it's pretty much held it up ever since the beginning of January 2021. So this is all I have for Kyber Network today. If you enjoyed this video, go to the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, go and do so. If you'd like to join the Discord, I'll post the link to it in the description below. As always, this is not financial advice, and I'll see you in the next one.